I don't know about this wind. We'll test this fuzzy thing, huh? One of the problems we have here is communication. Everyone says, oh, well, they speak English. Sort of. First, you have to consider, if you went to school in the US, you probably went to French or Spanish in school. And when you got out of school, you never used it. So how much of your high school Spanish do you remember? I don't remember much. I lived in Texas, so I used a little Spanish. I do speak more Spanish than I do Ilongo, which is unfortunate because I've actually taken some Ilongo lessons. I am not good at languages. But one of the problems we have is very simple misunderstandings. For example, I bought this plastic varnish. We are doing our porch, painting it with varnish, and you see this word? If you're American or any other Western country, you're probably saying maple. Okay? My wife says, pick up some maple plastic varnish. Now I'm hearing this, maple. I'm thinking it's a brand name. I don't know, maple? And I think about it for a second, and I said, do you mean maple? And she goes, yeah, maple, whatever. It's like, oh, okay. Because one of the things you understand here is their language, using the English letters that we use, is still different. To begin with, vowels, A-E-I-O-U, are not A-E-I-O-U. They are A-E-I-O-U. A as in maple. I'm lucky she didn't say maple, because if she said maple plastic varnish, I wouldn't have come up with maple. And so it causes some communication difficulties. And when we first got together, sometimes she wouldn't want to speak. And she's like, you never understand me. And I'm like, okay, I'm trying to question what she's saying. Trying to say it in such a way that I'm not being argumentative, but I'm like, I honestly don't understand you, you know, and I'm trying to help her improve her English. And she tries to help me improve my Ilongo. Neither one of us are having much luck, but that's part of the fun. We went to a place, some caves, a year or so back, and I told somebody we were going to Dingle. And they looked at me, I said, it's in Iloilo. It's the town up north. And they're just kind of, what? I'm like, there's a cave system. They got this river going through with a dam and a really neat swimming spot. And I think you can see them. They're going through, like, you can see them going through, naming off parts of the towns of Ilo that and they finally look at me and they go, Dingle? I'm like, maybe. And this was before I started learning any Ilongo. And I didn't really know the pronunciation of some of their letters. It would be like someone from the Philippines coming to America saying they were listening to this jingle on like a TV commercial. A jingle, what? Jingle and dingle are spelt the same. J-I-N-G-L-E, D-I-N-G-L-E. They are not pronounced the same. If I saw that word in America, I would call it dingle. I still might be wrong, but using American pronunciation, it's a pretty good guess. Here, it's dingle. They pronounce the I differently, and they pronounce the E, whereas we would call it dingle and leave off the E. But with the silent E, shouldn't the I be long, so it'd be dingle? So even using English, it's wrong. So jingle shouldn't be jingle, because English makes no sense either. None of these languages follow their own rules. But quite often, when either one of us are speaking, the other one completely misunderstands. And it has turned into some, if not fights, at least disagreements, some misunderstandings. And sometimes you gotta just take a step back and say, wait a minute. Write it down. Show me what you're trying to say. Because we will either mispronounce a word or we'll use a word in a way that the other one doesn't understand. And it makes for a lot of misunderstandings anywhere you go here. Yes, they mostly will speak some English. The farther from the cities, the farther from the tourist areas, the less likely. I have found that the old people, like that were around back when the American bases were still open, and they've been gone since the early 90s, the old people speak English. The kids in school speak English. In between school and old, it's real hit and miss. And it's understandable, like I said, how much high school Spanish do any of us remember? If you don't use it, you forget it. And my wife and I get into some, we don't fight about it. She's gotten better at me going, wait, what? Or her asking me, what? And we don't argue about it, but we have to discuss words sometimes and go, wait a minute, what are you trying to say? And then we politely correct each other on how to pronounce it, because anytime I try to speak in Ilonggo or Canarea, Tagalog, any of that, my pronunciation's pretty bad. And when she tries to use English, sometimes her pronunciation is off. Granted, her English is better than my Ilonggo. It doesn't really cause any problems. It just slows down communication. Not a problem, because I'm retired, there's no hurry. So slow it down, talk it out, write it down, whatever it takes, and go, wait a minute, what? And go, oh, I see what you mean, this, that. So, yes, maple varnish is maple. Maple took me a second, but I understood it. If she said maple, I don't think I'd have got it at all. I would have thought it was a brand name. So, it's just part of the fun. It's part of the adventure. So just relax, go with the flow, and be prepared to repeat yourself a lot.
Enjoy your day in paradise.